The French Connection is a 1971 American crime-action thriller film directed by William Friedkin. The screenplay, written by Ernest Tiedemann, is based on Robin Moore's 1969 book of the same name. It tells the story of NYPD detectives Jimmy Popeye Doyle and Buddy Cloudy Russo, whose real-life counterparts were narcotics detectives Eddie Egan and Sonny Grosso, in pursuit of wealthy French heroin smuggler Elaine Charnier. The film stars Gene Hackman as Popeye, Roy Scheider as Cloudy, and Fernando Rey as Charnier. Tony Lo Bianco and Marcel Bozzuffi also star. At the 44th Academy Awards, the film earned 8 nominations and won 5 for Best Picture, Best Actor, Best Director, Best Film Editing, and Best Adapted Screenplay, and was also nominated for Best Supporting Actor, Best Cinematography, and Best Sound Mixing. Tiedemann also received a Golden Globe Award nomination, a Writers Guild of America Award, and an Edgar Award for his screenplay. A sequel, French Connection 2, followed in 1975 with Hackman and Rey reprising their roles. Considered one of the greatest films ever made, The French Connection appeared in the American Film Institute's list of the best American films in 1998 and again in 2007. In 2005, the film was selected for preservation in the United States National Film Registry by the Library of Congress as being culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. Early life and education. Hackman was born in San Bernardino, California, the son of Eugene Ezra Hackman and Annalita Elizabeth. He has one brother, Richard. He has Pennsylvania Dutch, English, and Scottish ancestry. His mother was Canadian, and was born in Lambton, Ontario. His family moved frequently, finally settling in Danville, Illinois, where they lived in the house of his English-born maternal grandmother, Beatrice. Hackman's father operated the printing press for the Commercial News, a local paper. His parents divorced when he was 13 and his father subsequently left the family. Hackman decided that he wanted to become an actor when he was 10 years old. Hackman lived briefly in Storm Lake, Iowa, and spent his sophomore year at Storm Lake High School. He left home at age 16 and lied about his age to enlist in the United States Marine Corps. He served 4.5 years as a field radio operator. He was stationed in China. When the Communist Revolution conquered the mainland in 1949, Hackman was assigned to Hawaii and Japan. Following his discharge in 1951, he moved to New York City and had several jobs. His mother died in 1962 as a result of a fire she accidentally started while smoking. He began a study of journalism and television production at the University of Illinois under the GI Bill, but left and moved back to California. Career. Beginnings to the 1960s. In 1956, Hackman began pursuing an acting career. He joined the Pasadena Playhouse in California, where he befriended another aspiring actor, Dustin Hoffman. Already seen as outsiders by their classmates, Hackman and Hoffman were voted the least likely to succeed, and Hackman got the lowest score the Pasadena Playhouse had yet given. Determined to prove them wrong, Hackman moved to New York City. A 2004 article in Vanity Fair described Hackman, Hoffman, and Robert Duvall as struggling California-born actors and close friends, sharing NYC apartments in various two-person combinations in the 1960s. To support himself between acting jobs, Hackman was working at a Howard Johnson's restaurant when he encountered an instructor from the Pasadena Playhouse, who said that his job proved that Hackman wouldn't amount to anything. A Marine officer who saw him as a doorman said, "Hackman, you're a sorry son of a bitch." Rejection motivated Hackman, who said, "It was more psychological warfare, because I wasn't going to let those fuckers get me down. I insisted with myself that I would continue to do whatever it took to get a job. It was like me against them, and in some way, unfortunately, I still feel that way. But I think if you are really interested in acting, there is a part of you that relishes the struggle. It's a narcotic in the way that you are trained to do this work and nobody will let you do it, so you're a little bit nuts. You lie to people, you cheat, you do whatever it takes to get an audition, get a job. Hackman got various bit roles, for example on the TV series Route 66 in 1963, and began performing in several off-Broadway plays. In 1964 he had an offer to co-star in the play Any Wednesday with actress Sandy Dennis. This opened the door to film work. His first role was in Lilith, with Gene Seberg and Warren Beatty in the leading roles. In 1966 he played a small part as Dr. John Whipple in the epic film Hawaii. In 1967 he appeared in an episode of the television series The Invaders entitled The Spores. Another supporting role, Buck Barrow in 1967's Bonnie and Clyde, earned him an Academy Award nomination as Best Supporting Actor. In 1968 he appeared in an episode of I Spy, in the role of Hunter, in the episode Happy Birthday, Everybody. That same year he starred in the CBS Playhouse episode My Father and My Mother and the dystopian television film Shadow on the Land. In 1969 he played a ski coach and downhill racer and an astronaut in Marooned. Also that year, he played a member of a barnstorming skydiving team that entertained mostly at county fairs, a movie which also inspired many to pursue skydiving and has a cult-like status amongst skydivers as a result, The Gypsy Moths. He nearly accepted the role of Mike Brady for the TV series The Brady Bunch, but his agent advised that he decline it in exchange for a more promising role, which he did. 1970s. Hackman was nominated for a second Best Supporting Actor Academy Award for his role in I Never Sang for My Father. The next year, he won the Academy Award for Best Actor for his performance as New York City Detective Jimmy Popeye Doyle in The French Connection, marking his graduation to leading man status. After The French Connection, Hackman starred in 10 films over the next 3 years, making him the most prolific actor in Hollywood during that time frame. He followed The French Connection with leading roles in the disaster film The Poseidon Adventure and Francis Ford Coppola's The Conversation, which was nominated for several Oscars, and won the Palme d'Or in Cannes. That same year, Hackman appeared, in what would become one of his most famous comedic roles, as Harold the Blind Man in Young Frankenstein. He appeared as one of Teddy Roosevelt's former Rough Riders in the Western horse race saga Bite the Bullet. He reprised his Oscar-winning role as Doyle in the sequel French Connection 2, and was part of an all-star cast in the war film A Bridge Too Far, playing Polish General Stanislaw Sosabowski. Hackman showed a talent for both comedy and the slow burn as criminal mastermind Lex Luthor in Superman, the movie, a role he would reprise in its 1980 and 1987 sequels. 1980s. Hackman alternated between leading and supporting roles during the 1980s, with prominent roles in Reds directed by and starring Warren Beatty Under Fire, Hoosiers, No Way Out and Mississippi Burning, where he was nominated for a second Best Actor Oscar. Between 1985 and 1988, he starred in 9 films, making him the busiest actor, alongside Steve Guttenberg. 1990s. Hackman appeared with Anne Archer in Narrow Margin, a remake of the 1952 film The Narrow Margin. In 1992, he played the sadistic sheriff Little Bill Daggett in the western Unforgiven, directed by Clint Eastwood and written by David Webb Peoples. Hackman had pledged to avoid violent roles, but Eastwood convinced him to take the part, which earned him a second Oscar, this time for Best Supporting Actor. The film also won Best Picture. In 1993, he appeared in Geronimo, An American Legend as Brigadier General George Crook, and co-starred with Tom Cruise as a corrupt lawyer in The Firm, a legal thriller based on the John Grisham novel of the same name. Hackman would appear in 2 other films based on John Grisham novels, playing convict Sam K. Hall on death row in The Chamber, and jury consultant Rankin Fitch in Runaway Jury. Other notable films Hackman appeared in during the 1990s include Wyatt Earp, The Quick and the Dead opposite Sharon Stone, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Russell Crowe, and as submarine captain Frank Ramsey alongside Denzel Washington in Crimson Tide. Hackman played movie director Harry Zim with John Travolta in the comedy-drama Get Shorty. He reunited with Clint Eastwood in Absolute Power, and co-starred with Will Smith in Enemy of the State, his character reminiscent of the one he had portrayed in The Conversation. In 1996, he took a comedic turn as conservative Senator Kevin Keeley in The Birdcage with Robin Williams and Nathan Lane. 2000s. Hackman co-starred with Owen Wilson in Behind Enemy Lines, and appeared in the David Mamet crime thriller Heist, as an aging professional thief of considerable skill who is forced into one final job. He also gained much critical acclaim playing against type as the head of an eccentric family in Wes Anderson's comedy film The Royal Tenenbaums, for which he received the Golden Globe Award for Best Actor in a Motion Picture Musical or Comedy. In 2003, he also starred in another John Grisham legal drama, Runaway Jury, at long last getting to make a picture with his longtime friend Dustin Hoffman. In 2004, Hackman appeared alongside Ray Romano in the comedy Welcome to Mooseport, his final film acting role to date. Hackman was honored with the Cecil B. DeMille Award from the Golden Globe Awards for his outstanding contribution to the entertainment field in 2003. Retirement from acting. On July 7, 2004, Hackman gave a rare interview to Larry King, where he announced that he had no future film projects lined up and believed his acting career was over. In 2008, while promoting his third novel, he confirmed that he had retired from acting. When asked during a GQ interview in 2011 if he would ever come out of retirement to do one more film, he said he might consider it if I could do it in my own house, maybe, without them disturbing anything and just one or two people. He briefly came out of retirement to narrate 2 documentaries related to the Marine Corps, The Unknown Flag Raiser of Iwo Jima and We, the Marines. Career as a novelist. Together with undersea archaeologist Daniel Lenihan, Hackman has written 3 historical fiction novels, Wake of the Perdido Star, a sea adventure of the 19th century, Justice for None, a Depression-era tale of murder, and Escape from Andersonville about a prison escape during the American Civil War. His first solo effort, a story of love and revenge set in the Old West titled Payback at Morning Peak, was released in 2011. A police thriller, Pursuit, followed in 2013. In 2011, he appeared on the Fox Sports radio show The Loose Cannons, where he discussed his career and his novels with Pat O'Brien, Steve Hartman, and Vic the Brick Jacobs. Personal life. Marriages and family. Hackman has been married twice. He has 3 children from his first marriage. In 1956 Hackman married Faye Maltese with whom he had 1 son and 2 daughters, Christopher Allen, Elizabeth Jean, and Leslie Ann Hackman. He was often out on location making films while their children were growing up. The couple divorced in 1986 after 3 decades of marriage. In 1991 he married classical pianist Betsy Arakawa. They share a Santa Fe, New Mexico home which Architectural Digest featured in 1990. At the time, the home blended southwestern styles and crested a 12-acre hilltop, with a 360-degree view that stretched to the Colorado mountains. The couple is active, and at age 92 Hackman continues to attend Santa Fe cultural events. Politics. Hackman is a supporter of the Democratic Party, and was proud to be included on Nixon's enemies list. However, he has spoken fondly of Republican President Ronald Reagan. Interests. In the late 1970s, Hackman competed in Sports Car Club of America races, driving an open-wheeled Formula Ford. In 1983, he drove a Dan Gurney Team Toyota in the 24 Hours of Daytona endurance race. He also won the Long Beach Grand Prix celebrity race. Hackman is a fan of the Jacksonville Jaguars and regularly attended Jaguars games as a guest of then head coach Jack Del Rio. Their friendship goes back to Del Rio's playing days at the University of Southern California. Architecture and design are another of Hackman's interests. As of 1990 he had created 10 homes, 2 of which were featured in Architectural Digest. After a period of time, he moves on to another house restoration. "I don't know what's wrong with me," he remarked, "I guess I like the process, and when it's over, it's over." Hackman is an active cyclist as of 2018 when he was 88 years old. This is after a 2012 accident, when the then 81-year-old Hackman, bicycling in the Florida Keys, was struck by a pickup truck. He made a full recovery. Health. Hackman underwent an angioplasty in 1990. Theater credits. The Premise Improv Theater at the Premise, on Bleecker Street, NYC. Children from Their Games by Irwin Shaw at the Morosco Theater. A Rainy Day in Newark by Howard Teichman at the Belasco Theater. Come to the Palace of Sin by Michael Shurtleff at the Lucille Lortel Theater. Any Wednesday by Muriel Resnick at the Music Box Theater and the George Abbott Theater. Poor Richard by Jean Kerr with Alan Bates and Shirley Knight at the Helen Hayes Theater. The Natural Look by Leonora Thana at the Longacre Theater. Fragments in the Basement by Murray Schiskel at the Cherry Lane Theater. Death and the Maiden by Ariel Dorfman with Glenn Close and Richard Dreyfuss, directed by Mike Nichols, at the Brooks Atkinson Theater. Filmography. Film. Television.